urgent request for those of you that know Professor Bart and his better half, Pim. They were completely devastated. I'm going to turn the camera around. They have a special appeal going on right now on YouTube. And of course, as I turn it around, I'm going to turn on the volume that I have from the laptop. So bear with me. Any support, prayers, anything you can, all would be appreciated. Here we go.
All while, as you can see from this footage here, the rain just kept on coming. It's stopped now, but more rain is forecast later in the week as well, so that could set us back again. Don't know. We just feel pretty helpless, really.
Now that it's the rain stopped, so it feels like okay, it's calmed down, it's kind of stable now, but worried it's going to maybe get worse if the rain picks up again.
That's the message here. From Wednesday, Thursday, today being Sunday our time, the forecast is for yet more.
Right.
And the problem with that is it doesn't take much more because the land is absolutely sodden. I'll give you an example of that. When we pull the plug out of the bath, for example, that water goes through a normal pipe system to what's called a sink pit just behind the house, which is a gravel pit where the grey water sinks into there and it sinks into the land, and we're not connected to any kind of plumbing system. And I pulled the plug out of the bath last night, and back she came.
Wow!
It's full. There's nowhere for water to go. We're on septic tank, which was emptied a few months ago when we bought the property, so we've got some leeway there for sewerage. But also, as it is, all the water has to be boiled for consumption. Because God knows what's flushing down from upstream. And that, what you're seeing there, that little building there is our well, and that's where the water comes from. So, yeah, it's not ideal, folks. It's not an ideal situation. And it's pretty damn frightening because the road that you can see there is not accessible. Our house is about at the same level as that road, slightly higher, and it's off to the left from the shot here. And several more feet of water, and we could actually be in real trouble. So, yeah.
What's your availability tomorrow? Oh, sorry, Alex.
Tomorrow, I'm not going anywhere. I'm here. So as long as we've got electricity, I'm here.
Yeah. But as you know, Stephen and I are live every Sunday UK time at 7 p.m. for Q&A. We get lots of traffic through there, Stephen, don't we? Between the channels, Abs, a returning supporter of the channel. If you wanted to join that, and maybe we could live stream as we are now with Q&A. I think look at the people on the screen. I think minefield of information. So I think Steve, if you're up for it, maybe we open the invite to to everyone on the call to see if they're willing to join for an hour of Q&A. Maybe that will income generate and be able to at least
absolutely flick it through. Listen, just as we're speaking, thank you very much for that. Yes, absolutely. I'll just flick the invite through on an email, and we'll be there if it's at all possible. I just want to say thank you to everybody that's contributing along the way. Obviously, we can't stop and acknowledge everybody at the time, but yeah, absolutely, we appreciate that very much, and we will make sure that the funds are distributed to those around the region who need it most. We obviously are in a bad situation in terms of what the cost of this is going to be, but it's not all about us. There are others who are in a worse place, believe it or not, than we are. So this is a major region-wide event. Basically, the entire top half of the South Island of New Zealand has been decimated pretty much by this event. And the South Island of New Zealand is about the length of Sweden, I think, in terms of the size of that. Obviously, the population here is a lot lower than up there. There are something like 5.5 million New Zealanders, I think, most of whom are in the North Island. But nonetheless, those that live down here in the south, this is what we're faced with. Yeah.
How are you doing for food, Bart, in terms of, you said you got meat in the freezer. How I hate to ask it, but how long do you reckon you've got on that?
I think we've probably got 3 weeks or so. You can hear the rooster probably in the background. He thinks it's great.
Yeah.
Shut up, Brian. Who's Brian? I don't know. He's incredible. Brian is part of that food supply, frankly, and he's crowing about his life at the moment. He doesn't know what peril he's in, frankly. He could well be for the chop. So yeah, we've got probably 3 weeks worth of stored supply of various kinds of food and non-food items that can be used for food as well. We've got bottled fruit, for example, because we've got a fruit orchard, and we thought, what are we going to do with this? And my mum came and bottled it, because that's what mums do. A few months back, she said, you never know. And I was like, Mum, we don't eat that. And she said, you never know. Well, Mum was right. You never do know. We might have to eat some of that. We've got any number of birds that, can be sacrificed and processed on site and eaten, as long as we've got gas to cook them, by the way.
Yeah.
Or electricity, because we've got an oven as well as a gas hob, but maybe we have to light a fire in the backyard to cook chickens and ducks and whatever else. We've got any number of sheep and cattle on the property. Obviously, we're not going to go and start killing those unless it gets pretty damn desperate. We've got one of the former residents here in the freezer, which will last quite some time, I guess. So, we're okay. We're not going to starve to death. But just basics and items that you would normally take for granted. Toothbrushes,
like toothpaste.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. That we've got a normal supply of that. We haven't stockpiled that in case of Armageddon. So when that runs out, maybe we're using baking soda or God knows. Toilet paper. That's another thought. We've got a normal household supply of that. That'll run out long before the food does, if we can't get anything in or out. I guess we can call the civil defence folks and say, can you airdrop us some toilet paper or something? Or some basic groceries. I don't know. I don't want to make light of it because it's a serious situation, but I also want to make it very clear that there are others around the region who are in a much worse situation currently and immediately than we are. Thank you very much for that, Ballaby Brat. Sorry about that. Can't even read. I'm all cross-eyed because, as you can imagine, sleep in the last 3 days has been a commodity that I've had in no more than 2 or 3 hour blocks because I'm just full of cortisol and
Sleep-wise, so you just kind of awake, worrying about it, checking things on the property.
I can't sleep properly.
Mm-hmm.
At its worst, on the night where it was, really, really, whoops, this is very, very problematic. I was every half hour out there with a torch to check the level of the water. Where are we? Are we still okay? And, knowing full well that actually if we weren't okay, we were not going to be okay because there was no way out. That horse had already bolted. So we were there for duration, and it was just like, well, do we need to climb on the roof? Okay, it didn't get that bad. As it turns out, the water never made it to the house at all this time. But you know, it's
still. I mean, I'm watching it thinking, like, is this real? It's almost like something you see in a film, and
yeah.
and you
I'm looking
don't
out the
think it
window
would happen
and
to you.
going, "This isn't real."
Yeah, and I mean, to those guys watching, like, if you think about, how much Bart has contributed to our community, like in all the videos that he's put out, all the BS that he's exposed from God knows how many people there are on the interwebs spouting that nonsense, and the amount of help that he's given you, to us, to me. If that's ever mattered to you, if that's ever meant anything to you, and you ever want to give back, now is absolutely the time to give back, and not just on a human level, but at the end of the day, we have to change our perspective, I think, on how well we look after and how well we treat people that produce food for us, for the rest of society. And on both of those levels, I think, if whatever you can, in any way you can help, I think that'll be massively appreciated, 100%.
Yeah, thank you very much, Abs, for those sentiments. And yep, all I can do is echo those. Guys, if $5 is where you're at, if that's what you've got, we'll take it, and we will distribute it to those around the region that need it. This is not just about us. This is about a very, very serious situation here in New Zealand right now. I don't know if the international news media is doing justice to what's going on, but I'm just hoping some of this...
honestly, I didn't even know it happened until I saw your post. Like, I've seen nothing about it in the UK.
Yeah, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, so that's what we're faced with. Those that metal or gravel that you can see, that's kind of a brown color in the previous shot there, in that what's basically usually just a dry trenchway. It's supposed to allow a little bit of water to go through. Nothing like this. Thank you very much, Juliet. Appreciate that very much. Those stones were not there before. They've been washed down overnight from further up. The whole landscape has just changed entirely. That edge where that now river is running through, that's about halfway back in a paddock in which we had cows very, very recently. And that's all just been washed away, caved in. I don't even know how deep that is there. We won't see it until the water drops. And the bridge that services the property, the only road in, has been washed out there. As you can probably see, the camera doesn't go there. I'm going up to it now. There's supposed to be land between that bridge there and the elevated bit that's the road there, and it's just not anymore. So yeah.
Wow, I'm just so sad for them and devastated. And I'll tell you what, I have not heard any of that on the mainstream news. So I'm going to close it out right now. Thank you very much for those of you that are watching and paying attention. I just wanted you all to know. Good night. God bless everyone.